Hello guys, today we're going to learn how to divide two whole numbers when the result is not an exact answer. So you need to give the result as a decimal number. So far we already know how to divide two whole numbers when the answer is exact. For example, if I divide 10 divided 2, we already know that the answer is 5. And this one is really simple because 10 is divisible by 2. So we already know that the answer is going to be exact, in this case number 5. But what would happen if we have, for example, 9 apples and we want to divide these 9 apples into 2 different people? Well, if we do the operation, let's do it like we normally do it. We would put the 9 inside, then our division, and then number 2 is going to divide number 9. In this case, we will ask, how many times does number 2 fit in number 9? And in this case, we know that it fits 4 times, or 9 divided 2 is equal to what? So it's equal to 4. Now we have to multiply. 4 times 2 is 8, and we subtract. This is what we normally do when we divide whole numbers. Now, if we want to give an answer right now, the answer would be 4 remainder 1, which means if I have 9 apples and I want to divide these 9 apples into 2 different people, each people would eat 4 apples and we would have 1 apple left. But what happens if we cannot have any apples left? What happens if we have to divide exactly all the apples, if we have to divide this apple? So in this case, we would have to give the answer in decimals. What would we do? Let's forget about the remainder, because we cannot give the answer with a remainder. And what we're going to do now is that we're going to change this number 9 without changing its value. And I'm going to do it with another color for you to see it clearly. Now we know that 9 is equal to say 9.0. There is no difference between 9 and 9.0. Why? For example, if we're talking about centimeters and millimeters, if I have 9.0 centimeters, this is exactly the same as having 9 centimeters and 0 millimeters, which is exactly the same as having just 9 centimeters. So as you see, 9.0 is the same as 9. That means that you can add as many zeros as you want after the decimal point, and it's never going to change the value of number 9 in this case, or the number that you have. So, just to summarize up to here, you can add after a whole number, you can just write 0.000, as many zeros as you want, and it's not going to change the value of the number that you are working with. Okay, so in this case, to continue with the division, I'm just going to put 0.0000 and see later if we're going to need more zeros, but I don't think so. Now, in the division, the same as in addition and multiplication, we need to align the points. What does this mean? I already divided 9, the answer was 4. Now I have a point here, so I have to put another point in the answer. The points need to be in the same line. After putting the point up, now I can bring down the next number, which in this case is going to be a 0. Okay? Now I continue dividing. 10 divided 2 is equal to 5. And then 5 times 2 is 10. And 10 minus 10 is 0. How do I know if I finish? Right here, I already finished. Why? Because I have 0 as a remainder. If you have number 0 as a remainder, it means you're already done. You are not going to need all of these zeros, okay? Just 1 0. If, for example, the remainder was 1, 2, 3, and so on, I would have to continue dividing, okay? When do you have to start? So there are two possibilities. If the division ends with a remainder 0, it means you can stop. But if the division continues and continues and continues, you can stop after you have 3 decimal numbers. Okay, this depends on your teacher, but normally we ask for 3 decimal numbers, okay? So in this case, we would have 5, let's say that we did it again, it was a 2, then a 3, then even if the remainder is not 0, you have to stop, okay? You can't stop, because some of the numbers are infinite and this can go on forever. So you would be there all your life dividing and dividing. So we have 2 reasons to start. If we already have 3 numbers after the point, or if we reach a number 0 in the remainder, okay? So we're going to do 2 or 3 more examples just for you to understand clearly, because this is really easy, and if you know how to divide, you're going to understand perfectly how to divide 2 whole numbers when the answer is not exact. So let's do another example. Let's say that I want to divide 329 divided 5, okay? So as normally we would start dividing. So how many times number 5 fit in number 3? It doesn't fit, so I'm going to take the 32. How many times the 5 fit in the 32? And this would be 6, right? Because 6 times 5 is 30. And 5 times 6 is 30, and 5 times 7 is 35. It's already over the limit. So I would have to say 6. Now I have to multiply 6 times 5, which is 30. We subtract 32 minus 30 is 2. Do you remember the next step? Yes, we need to bring down number 9. And now we have a 29 right here in the bottom, on the bottom. So we need to divide. How many times the 5 fit in the 29? And in this case, it's going to be 5, because 5 times 6 is 30, and it's already over the limit. So we would say 5 times 5 is 25, and then we have to subtract 29 minus 25 is 4. Normally I would say, okay, 65, remainder 4, but as we are working with decimals, we do not need a remainder. We need to distribute or divide the number exactly. So we have to keep moving. Do you remember the next step? I'm going to do it in red again. So, as we did the last time, remember that we can add point and as many zeros as you want after the point. Okay, as many zeros as you need. I'm just going to add 2, and then if I need more, I will add them later. Okay, now I have a decimal point here, which means I have to put my decimal point on top. Remember that these 2 decimal points need to be aligned in the same line. I cannot have one decimal point here and the other one here or here or here. They have to be in the same line, okay? After putting the point up, now I can bring down number 0. And now we have to divide. How many times does 5 fit in 40? Okay, this is an exact answer, which is 8. And then 8 times 5 is going to be 40. And the remainder is 0. Remember this, the remainder is 0. It means I already finished, so I can erase the next 0. And that's it. 329 divided 5 is 65.8, or 65 and 8/10. You already know how to read decimal numbers, right? Okay, now let's see another example. Let's say that we want to divide. Okay, let me think about this one, because I want it to be better. Okay, let's say we want to divide 755 divided 7. And I'm going to erase the other one for you to concentrate in the new example. So, we're going to start dividing normally. How many times does number 7 fit in 7? It fits 1 time. 1 times 7 is 7, and we subtract, and this is 0. That was the first step. Now, the next step is to bring down number 5. And we have to do the operation. How many times does number 7 fit in number 5? 0 times, because 5 is less than 7. So I'm going to put 0. 0 times 7 is 0, and then we subtract. This is going to be 5. Now, I have to bring down the next 5. There you go. Now, 7 times what is close to 55. Remember, we cannot go over the limit. So 7 times 8 is 56. It's already over the limit. So we have to go with 7. 7 times 7. And 7 times 7 is 49. And now we subtract. 55 minus 49 is 6. Normally, we would say remainder 6. But once again, 6. But once again, we are not working with remainders. And for that reason, we have to change the number without changing its value. Remember, to do this, you only need to put point, or to write point, and as many zeros as you want. Okay? Now, let's see what happens now. I have a point here, so I have to put my point on top in the same line. And now I can bring down the next number, which is as 0. Now, 60 divided 7. So 7 times 9 is 63. It's already over the limit. So we need to go below 7 times 8. Let me do this. 7 times 8. Then we multiplied 8 times 7, which is 56. And we subtract. This is going to be 4. And as you see, I don't have 0 as a remainder, so it means I have to keep going. So I'm going to bring down the next number. Number 0. Remember that you can only have one point in your answer, okay? You cannot put point, point, point. No, just one point, it's okay. Then you just keep bringing the zeros as many times as you need. Now, 7 in 40. What do you think? It's going to be 5 times. Okay? And 5 times 7, it's going to be 35. And the remainder is 5. Once again, I haven't finished. Why? Because my remainder is no 0. It's not 0. And I only have 2 decimal numbers so far. So I have to do at least one more. Remember, we're going to ask you 3 decimal numbers. Okay, we're going to ask you for 3 decimal numbers. We have already just 2, so I have to keep going. How? I have to bring down the next number. Now, 7 in 50. 7 in 50 is going to fit 7 times. 7 times 7 is 49. And now we can subtract. 50 minus 49 is 1. My remainder is not 0, but I already have 3 decimal numbers, which means even if the answer can keep like going and going and going, I can't stop right now. This is as far as we are going to do. If you want to continue, you can continue forever. The answer is going to be infinite. It's never going to have an end. So right now, when you have 3 decimal numbers, you can stop. Okay? Guys, this is all for today, for this video. Let me know if you have any question. I hope you understood. Bye-bye.